Me and Ons are like this now, son. We're like this. So, so. All right, serious and silliness bodybuilding. We had an all-star cast. We got two legends, Jason Ons and the great King Kamali. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
Did you guys watch the Texas Pro at all? I know everybody's been beating it to a dead horse, but I wanted your opinion.
Yeah, I saw it online.
Yeah, I saw the highlights and the lowlights and the.
What'd you think? I did a wrap up and I put up that that Andrew Jack they gave him the win. I said, but it was close, you know. I said, personally, I thought Hunter came in harder, especially from the back, and I probably would have gave it to him, but I understand why they gave it to Andrew. And I went into it for stage presence, and he was just, you know, so on and so forth. And it wasn't, and I was saying, I mean, the top two look great. I mean, Andrew Jack looked fantastic. And I don't know if you agree with that or not, but people were commenting under my recap, like, you're blind, you don't know bodybuilding. He blew Hunter away, and I usually ignore it, but I messaged one guy back, and I said, "Look, they wouldn't have put them through 4 rounds of posing if it wasn't close." Right. So I don't know. I just want your guys' opinion on it.
Jason, you go first.
I'm a Hunter fan. You know, I genuinely like Hunter. I thought he looked like he was struggling. You know.
Definitely.
Again,
in the posing, yeah.
And I think Andrew has a lot of room for improvement also. But Hunter looked like there was something going on with his midsection. I've never seen his stomach distended before, but it was distended in certain areas. His breathing was off, where he looked like he was winded. He still had the folds in his lower glutes and his lower back. I was expecting more from this appearance from Hunter from what we saw a couple weeks prior. I thought, all right, he's getting to his stride. He's going in the right direction. This is what he needs to do to continue to kind of build that, you know, I hate to use the term muscle maturity, but diet maturity, where his body lets go of that subcutaneous water and a little bit of extra fat that, that's in there. So I was expecting that from this showing. And I was disappointed in that respect. Still, it was comparable, dude. You had both guys battling it out. And again, dude, they worked them. They fucking worked those guys. Andrew was missing this and Hunter had this. Hunter was missing this and Andrew had this. So and I get it, dude. They probably wanted Andrew to qualify, and then get him in there. And Hunter was already qualified. But I thought both sides definitely still need some improvement if they're looking to jump up the ranks, the higher placings in the Olympia.
What do you think, King?
I agree with what Jason's saying. A couple of things. If you ask Chris Aceto, which I did immediately afterwards, I sent him a message, and he didn't think it was even close. You know, he thought it was Andrew by miles, not by the little bit, but he thought it was Andrew by miles. Now, I'm not there. Jason's not there. You're not there. So it's a whole world of difference. And I've heard over and over again, one thing that keeps coming back when it comes to Hunter, that he looks better in person than he does on the screen, on the tube, or whatever it is, in pictures. Everyone keeps saying Hunter looks better. But I think that he has an issue. And the issue with Hunter is that film of water that he got rid of at the last one when he won. But it just keeps wanting to creep right back in again. Now, Jason's sitting there because he was Mr. Consistency. We all, if Jason Orange was going to do a show, we all knew, God damn it, he's going to be in shape. We gotta fucking come in hard. We can't even give a 1% because we know Jason's going to be in the show. Now, to do that, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge to figure out what your body is all about. One of the things that Hunter has done, from what I've heard, is that he switched from a liquid diet to a solid diet.
I heard the
which
same.
helped him tremendously, because that is what I believe through my experience on myself and working with a lot of people. You can't do that liquid diet stuff. It doesn't work. The body rejects it. Okay. It wants food, solid food. That did wonders for him, but he was huffing, he was puffing, he was spilling over. And that really was the thing, as you say, if you're looking at the political aspect of the sport, that's what the judges were looking for, to give that Andrew that nudge and say, okay, Andrew, here you go. Right. Some of the shots, Andrew, believe me, I was the first person to text Chris and say 5 to 7 more pounds. It's the first thing I said to him. I said 5 to 7 more pounds. Fix his front double bicep. He's got to close his arms a little bit. What is that little Victor Martinez twist that he does? You got to stop that shit. You got to just hit the shot correctly. I know he's trying to do a trademark and all that stuff, and hams and glutes. And Chris's response to me was one word: yes.
That was it. It's funny you said that, because I watched the wrap up with Chris Aceto, and I forgot the guy from RX Muscle. He was on RX Muscle, and Aceto was talking about how good Hunter and Andrew looked, but that was prejudging. I don't think I watched the one for the finals, but he said fireworks from the minute they came out. It was a battle, and he really was complimenting Hunter a lot, saying, basically saying that it was close, right? And I know Andrew is his boy. Now, don't get me wrong, like Andrew looked fantastic. There was some shots that were lights out, like Andrew's side tricep, and somebody, and in my opinion, somebody really helped him with his posing, because some of his shots were lights out. Like he does that side tricep where he kind of pushes his arm into his body and his tricep pops out. And the fact that his arms are a little lanky, it kind of, it hides that. You can't really see it. And then he turns, so you see his quads, and you see his midsection, and he has a phenomenal, midsection and quads. The other thing was his rear, his glutes and his hamstrings. Here's what I think, but I want your guys' opinion, obviously. I think if he puts on the muscle, because I don't know if he could come in any crisper than he was, but if he puts on the muscle and he gains some weight in the hamstrings and glutes, I think you'll obviously see more than what you're seeing now, because it'll kind of grow into the skin. What do you guys think? That's just my opinion.
I think he's got more room to fill out on the frame. He's got
100%, yeah.
He's got a huge frame, and it shows. And even Carlos, who was stacked, was off.
Yeah, we'll get to him. Well, he's the next topic.
But he's stacked, and when you put him in a lineup with Derek Lunsford and
Nick Sampson,
and Sampson. It's going to be different than he looked at the Arnold. When you have other guys that could fill in those in-between areas.
Right.
It's going to be a big jump from where he was third to maybe fifth, sixth, or seventh, because you have some of those guys in between that aren't lacking that, and I remember looking at pictures, one of my last Olympias. And I'm going through them, and these are actual pictures you hold in your hand.
Yeah.
And they showed it was the second call out. It was the guys. They were 7th through like 11th or whatever, and not to mention the names. But dude, if you would have looked at these guys, you're like, holy shit, dude, this is fucking. And I'm just worried about. I was in the first call out, so I was worried about how I looked, because you want to make sure you're deserving. So I'm looking at these guys, and dude, they looked fucking phenomenal. Like these are 7th through something at the Olympia, right? And then they got to the top 6 picture, and I was like, whoa. And there was just such a distinct difference. And you wouldn't notice it until you're next to that group. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's just this small little margin, but it looks like they're in a different class.
Yeah.
You know what's the perfect example of what Jason's saying right there? The perfect example for all you kids out there is Crizzo. Everybody was going nuts about Crizzo this, Crizzo that. And last year, I get shit for it, like we always do when we tell the truth. I said, he won't be in the top 10, or he might be able to. Everybody's going nuts. Oh,
Yeah.
bullshit. I'm like, you just don't understand exactly what Jason said. When you're standing next to the top guys in the world, it makes a huge
level,
difference.
Dude. It's
Absolutely.
a different level.
I mean, Rafael Brandao, who's an amazing bodybuilder, came in 10th on the Olympia stage. I mean, that alone is saying something. But what do you guys think about what I had said about his glutes and hamstrings? I know he has to fill out the frame altogether. I think if he fills out the frame altogether, I think you might see more definition in the glutes and hamstrings.
My suggestion would be this, because I've seen this problem before and I've seen it be fixed. Psycho Lewis needs to train. Look at Samson. Samson is getting bigger and bigger and harder. And I saw his latest pictures, and his back is almost caught up to the rest of him now.
Right. Yeah.
That's scary to think that in about 11, 12 weeks, what that motherfucker is going to look like standing on that stage. It can be done. What he needs to do, from my personal experience, heavy, stiff-legged deadlifts. He needs to go back to old school, picking up the bar off the floor shit. Mm-hmm. Okay. If he does that and he puts that, because listen, you'll never see Branch Warren not be hard as a fucking rock. Was it because Branch's genetics? Well, no, it's because he trained fucking heavy, heavy weights. People sometimes don't like it. I said that on one of my Instagram lives, and I got 1,000 people coming in. Bullshit.
Yeah.
You don't need to train heavy. All you need to do is train with machines. And my response to them was, okay, you go ahead and keep training with machines. Let the Olympians stick. Yeah, just keep training with machines.
You know what blows me away? What blows me away is that it's like, all right. Joe Rogan is a very smart man, but when he has a smarter man on his podcast, he shuts up and he listens, right? Like when he has Jordan Peterson on, he shuts up and he listens. But then you have people, King Kamali is talking, and they're like, nah, no fucking way. And it's like, do you realize? Like it's just.
I'm trying to help. Jason's trying to help, but we're done. We're not competing anymore. We're living our lives. We're happy. We're trying to pass down. We're fucking Jedi Knights, right?
We got no skin in this game.
We're sitting on the chairs in the temple right now, ordering people around with our Jedi fucking mind tricks. Yeah. We've been there and fucking done that. I'm trying to help you guys out. Any of these kids think that if you're going to train with machines and you're going to get to the top, you're not. You got to pick the weight. What is that commercial? I pick things up and put them down. That's what you got to. You got to pick them off the floor, man. You got to put the squat bar on your back, go down to the ground and come back up. You got to put 6, 7 plates on the hack squat, go down and come back. You need to get a training partner to get in your face. You need to get blood coming out of your eyes. That's what you need to do to get that type of muscle. Everybody looks at they look at Dexter in his late years, or Jay towards the end when he was doing volume training. How the fuck do you think Jay got like that in the beginning?
Yeah,
he was throwing around heavy weight.
He was just maintaining at that point,
right?
It was just I don't understand that mentality where people don't listen to somebody who knows and has been around for 30 years, whatever. It doesn't.
So I saw this video, and this will clear it all up. I saw this video today, and it's a guy talking to all the kids out there, saying, hey, if you're not getting the results that you've been working for, maybe you should stop listening to the influencers that keep telling you your routine week after week after week and to change your diet. This is the simple shit. This is what you did. Now, here's the reality of it. And King, I think you could attest to this. Remember in the old magazine days, remember how long it was just the magazines, right? And we would book these photo shoots and we'd do them after our competitions. And, what do you want to take pictures of? And they said, well, we want to do something different. They weren't really filming the shit we were really doing. They wanted to film something that looked cool for the magazines.
Correct.
Because it looked good for the viewers. It sells more magazines when you're doing something different. And it's no different to today. If you put that onto this, And you have these YouTubers or these Instagrammers or influencers, whatever you want to call them, that have never done anything. They've never accomplished anything, but they're in there giving advice, and it's simpler for the kid or the viewer to see this and say, because they're on Instagram, they're famous, I'm going to listen to what he has to say, and they believe it. When the reality is nobody wants to face the hard facts that it's the hard work, it's the consistency, and you don't ever take constructive criticism from somebody who's never constructed anything.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So when you have guys like us on and we're talking, it's because we've done it.
Yeah.
And believe me, if there were shortcuts, we would have fucking taken them. Exactly. What do you think? We just wanted the hard road all the time? We would have taken any shortcut you put in our path. But there are none. But nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah.
And if there's a question or if there's something that I don't have the answer to, I ask.
Right.
To me, that's just basic. If somebody asks me a question or if I see something that I don't know the answer to, I'll pick up the phone and I'll call Mike down in Louisiana or Dave Palumbo or someone, Milos. I'll call someone and I'll get their opinions and ask, okay, why did this happen? Or am I saying this correctly? Why did this? And then I get feedback and I become better and I learn a little bit more, No. See, look, again, I've said this 1,000 times, and being a father, I think Jay can attest to this too. You try to teach down old school, OG lessons to your children, so they don't fall for these traps of social media, and it's all. I keep telling my daughter, and she's picked up on it tremendously. It's all fake.
And it really
all
is.
The happiest people and all these things you see on social media, it's all fake. They're miserable.
Bullshit.
They have no idea what life is really about. And all these a little off the subject, but this is something that you like, because I know you're a sick motherfucker. all these OnlyFans chicks. Yeah. I know a bunch of them.
So do I. I've interviewed them.
They're making bank. Okay, they're making bank, but that shit is temporary. It will come back and bite them in the fucking ass.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy it while you can right now. I got a good friend of mine right now up in Canada who's breaking it in, but I can't tell you how many times she's called crying because she feels like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well,
that's what you chose.
That's what you chose.
I'll comment on that and then we'll go back to bodybuilding. But there's a expression that I stole from another podcast, and the expression is fast money equals slow problems.
Yeah,
and that's the fucking truth. And
it's a good quote.
It really is. And these OnlyFans girls, the young girls that are like, I don't need no man, I don't care, because promiscuity and sexuality now is basically it's championed. It's like it's empowering. But the truth of the matter is, the outcome is what the truth is. And no guy wants a girl on OnlyFans showing everything or banging this one and you're dating him unless he's a simp.
Well, you can put that. I don't mean to cut you off, but you can relate that to bodybuilding.
Sure.
Rich Piana, dead. Right. Derek Anthony, dead.
Right.
What was that other kid's name that just passed away? The one who had a ton of followers.
Joe Aesthetics, something like that.
All dead, and they're just because the mentality is, I can make a lot more from
quicker, faster, harder.
That's right.
Easier.
Yeah, 100%.
Being an IFBB pro, winning the nationals, winning the USAs, winning the North Americans to a certain degree. It used to be you were already a star. You were a star. Everybody, if you would have gone and you asked everyone in this country who Jason Arntz was when he was in the NPC, they would know. They could tell you exactly what his career was. What did he place the year before? What shows he did? And what he's... Same thing with me. Same thing with Melvin. Same thing with Chris Cormier. Same thing. It doesn't... That's done.
Right.
It's over with because of this social media psychoness that we've all been melted into.
Victim to, right.
It's the God's honest truth.
But the problem
go ahead,
is we are outnumbered.
Oh,
Right.
We're our man, and just like you said about your daughter, did I deal with it too? And you try to drive these basic fundamental principles into your kids, and as much as they absorb it, and as much as they're retentive to what we have to say, they go out and they're around the rest of them that are just they're just fucking
and it's
walking aimlessly. It's like the
yeah.
Walking Dead.
And the propaganda seeps in no matter what, I see it with my own eyes, and the ones that have good dads and good parents, they have a half a shot. But if you don't have a solid role model, you forget it. You're lost. It'll consume you. It'll totally consume you.
But we got to be
Absolutely.
consistent. We got to stay on them because it's easy to get lost in that fucking noise. It's a lot of noise.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Move on to Carlos Thomas Jr. I didn't know. I automatically assumed he was going to be pissed or upset, so I didn't text him right away. I texted him 2 days ago. He didn't get back to me, so I'm like, he's probably fucking upset. But I messaged his dad, and his dad called me back, and because his dad is fucking aces, man. His dad is great, and he actually told me no, he's fine. He's actually happy with the third place finish. He knows he has to do improvements. He said they treated him great in Texas, but he's going to sit it out this year and try to work on his improvements. So, but when I did the wrap up, I had said about Carlos that first of all, there's nothing to be embarrassed of. This is his pro debut. He came in third against a very good lineup, one of the better ones this year, besides the Arnold Classic. But I said, in my opinion, I would, what does he have to come in? Maybe 10% harder, and he could, possibly win a show. I mean, a lot of the shows aren't as stacked as this one. He's already huge. He doesn't have to put any more muscle on. He doesn't have anything to improve on. He's a monster of a man. And why not keep going? But they decided, and of course they know best, obviously. It's his son and their trainers and Carlos, and they decide that that's it. They're going to sit the year out and come back next year and go hard next year. But what's your opinion on that, King? And then we'll go to Jay.
I love him. As soon as I saw him walk out, I literally started laughing because that makes me think of bodybuilding, why I got into it. Because the first time I saw Kevin Levrone guest pose in DC, I saw him walk on that stage and I had goosebumps. I'm like, holy shit. It's kind of the same feeling. I didn't get goosebumps, but I saw Carlos. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful, man. That's just a little freak.
You could tell, you could tell he would love being there too.
Yeah, I mean, he's young. He's got lots of skill and lots of talent. He's got a bright future. He looks like a mix between John Sherman and Victor Martinez. I mean, just a tank with shape.
That's good.
John Sherman and Victor Martinez. And then when he walks out and he's definitely a mutant. He's got that Nick Walker factor. He could have that Nick Walker factor, but let's be realistic here, man. He was 4 weeks out.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was 4 weeks out. I mean, he needed 4 more weeks of dialing it in and all that stuff. And listening to his boys in the audience and the way they were cheering him up, you can tell he needs somebody in his life to tell him, man, you're still fat, bro.
I mean, you might be right.
I mean, that's what he needs because his boys in the audience were like going crazy every shot he hit. That's fantastic. And you got your boys in the audience and you got your crew, pushing you. But the way they were so into it, it makes me feel like he needs someone in his life to turn around and say, yo, man, no, you're not there yet, man. You got to keep going. I had people like that in my life. I had Fairfax Hackley. I had training partners who were fucking MS-13 gangsters, literally would come with fucking guns and knife cuts on them every day. And they would be, you're not ready. You're not ready, man. You're not ready. And okay, I got to keep going. Okay. That's what he needs because you're in the pro ranks now, bro. If you want to make that splash, you got to come in fucking shredded. And you were far from it.
Yeah, he definitely was 4 weeks out. What do you think, Jay?
I agree with all that. And again, we don't need, as bodybuilders and professional athletes, especially, when you get to this kind of level, you don't need cheerleaders. We don't need cheerleaders. We need guys say, look, dude, you look great. You got a great physique, but dial it in. He was not ready. And I love Carlos, dude. I love him. I love his father. Dude, great guys.
Yeah.
But 4 weeks probably would do it. I don't know if I necessarily agree with waiting until next year. I think he's got all the tools. I think
I think so too.
I think he needs to learn how to put this together.
Yeah,
because he wasn't as fine-tuned as he should have been when he won his pro card, when he won the nationals, and he certainly wasn't any better here.
Right.
So what he's not learning from these experiences, or what he's not allowing himself to learn, is what to do to get to that next level. And you don't do that by waiting another year and waiting to how you look 4 weeks out. You need to do it again, go through the process again, and find out what works for you for those final fine-tuning and those finishing touches, because that's all he needs.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's actually what I said.
Any show that's on the roster for the rest of the year, and not necessarily just so he could qualify for the Olympia and get in on the Olympia. I would do it for the experience. Like, dude, now you got to go through a whole other prep, a whole other 15 weeks or whatever he was dieting for to get to this point, to hopefully learn what you could learn now in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
So that's my own argument.
100% agreed. Plus, the key word that Jason said right there is the experience.
Right.
You figure it out. Each time you do it, you turn around and you say, okay, you know what? Flank steak worked wonders for me, but the shrimp didn't. It was a little bit too much sodium. Okay, maybe the rice cakes was not enough. There wasn't a glycemic index, and maybe we should try sweet potatoes until you find your formula. Then when you find that formula, it's a beautiful, beautiful ride, man. Right. Then you can sit there and say, okay, I know for a fact this works. I know for a fact. Why mine? Maybe I need to calm down my nerves a little bit. Again, goes back to experience. So Jason, 100%. He should jump back on stage. Absolutely.
He has, I agree 100%. He has star quality. I mean, it's obvious. He's got star quality. I mean, the guy could be the next Nick Walker or whatever. I don't know who trains him. I have no idea who his coach is. But if you have star quality and you see what guys like Hani did for Derek, or Milos did for Samson, or Chris did for Aceto did for Andrew Jack, because he could be in that category. Wouldn't you sort out one of those guys?
Possibly,
yeah. You have to understand. It all depends, though. It depends on his personality. I don't know him. His personality. It depends on how he lives. Is he the type of person that's going to take listen to somebody else? Because each coach is going to come along. They're going to have their own philosophy. They're going to have their own way of doing things. You got to. It depends. I mean, and you working with certain coaches, it doesn't work. Sometimes they work and sometimes it doesn't. So maybe he just doesn't want to take that risk. Who knows? There's a million different things involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jay?
I agree. I mean, there's people you could take direction from, and there's people you can't, and there's conflicting personalities that fall. I like doing shit on my own. That's just how I was, and I don't mind learning from people and applying that. But obviously he has faith in whoever he's working with. I think you had 2 shots. You had the nationals. You had this one. I'd be willing to give it another shot. Or at least, if you're going to do it on your own, take these opportunities to try to learn and figure your body out.
Yeah,
he's a bright guy and he's an educated guy.
Yeah, very
high IQ. It's not like we're talking to some guy down from wherever. He if anybody could figure it out, dude, it's him. And it might be easier when you're in these final stages to listen to somebody like a Chris or a Milos or a Hani or whoever. Maybe he doesn't want to fall victim into that where, hey, I feel like I'm one of their guys and they have other guys I'm competing against. And I get that argument also. But then you got to take the initiative and do it yourself and try to figure this shit out. But the path you're taking isn't working. So I would just continue, like I said, not to beat a dead horse. I would jump in a couple other shows. I would try to figure my body out. Or if not, put your faith in somebody else for next season if that's the direction you're going to go in.
One more question about Carlos and the Texas Pro. Like I said, Carlos and his dad are great people. But when his dad said that he's fine and he was happy with the placing, that kind of threw a little red flag out at me. Why would you be happy? I understand that it's Hunter and Andrew Jack, but happy.
Oh, look, look, it's not like he's unhappy where he's pissed at the judges. Because, dude, I heard people saying he's lucky to get third because he wasn't in any condition.
Yeah, I heard the same.
He should be happy. And look, maybe he knows, dude, I screwed up. I didn't hit my peak right.
Okay,
dude,
good
I'm
point.
happy to get next to Hunter and fucking Hunter and Andrew Jack, dude.
Yeah,
that's not a bad place to be in on your first pro debut, on your pro debut next to those two guys. And even given the opportunity to pose with them to see where you could fare next season or your next show or whatever. So I don't think that's a big thing. I don't think.
Plus, he puts you got to do a calculation too. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to spend X amount of money to get ready for the Olympia. Where am I going to place? How is this going to work for me? It's not like you do the Olympia now and you get a supplement contract. It doesn't work like that anymore.
Right.
It's unfortunate for these guys, but that's not how it is anymore. So he's got to put that into their equation too.
Yeah, all that makes sense. All things that, of course, like I said, since I was never there, I didn't take into consideration. But that's why I have guys like you on. But let's shift, because this week we go to Romania for the Masters Olympia, and there's a few big names. Obviously, there's Kamal, there's Phil, there's Max Charles. The one that sticks out at me is obviously Fred Smalls. The one that sticks out at me the most, that I'm curious the most about, is Joshua Lenardowitz. Like, we haven't seen him in a very, very long time, and he does not post much on it. He doesn't post anything on social media. I've checked his Instagram and so on and so forth. Now, obviously, if he looks like the old Josh Lenardowitz, it's lights out for everybody. But I seriously doubt it. I think he had some kind of brain surgery. Did he have some kind of tumor? Is it something significant, which is why he had to sit out for a very long time? And if he is doing the Masters, that means he's over 40. So to come back after something like that, I seriously doubt that he would be the Josh Lenardowitz of, 7 years ago, or whatever the case may be. What is your guys' opinion on him? Because that name jumps out at me immediately.
I don't know who he is.
Really? Oh, all right, I'll look him up. That's all right.
Go, Josh.
Hold on. I got it already.
Yeah, Josh could be the dark horse. He definitely could be the X factor. We all know that Kamal is going to bring the conditioning. Jason, you know who Josh Lenardowitz is.
Yeah.
Once you see his face, as soon as you see his face, you'll know exactly who he is.
He's an Australian. This was
Australian?
This was the Arnold Classic USA.
What year was that?
I don't remember. It's 2019 it says.
4 years ago,
yeah. Yeah. So I mean was him. But then he had some serious surgeries, but it looks like he didn't put anything recent on it. These are all old pics, There's him with Sean Roden, obviously. But what are the odds that he comes back looking like this again?
Are you sure about his surgery? Is you sure it was brain surgery?
Yeah, I don't know if it's some kind of issue.
He had
like that.
He had a major issue, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was a brain thing, but he did have a major issue. Listen, Josh is big. He's a big fucking guy. He's got great legs for a big guy. He's got a great back. He's got a good personality. He's got pretty decent shape. And he would usually come in shape too. He's definitely a dark horse. Going back to what I said about Kamal. Kamal, he's going to bring the conditioning. He's a 212 champion. He's one of the favorites going in. You mentioned Phil. Phil is going to be good too. He's going to be very tough. I'm sure he's dropping a hammer. Don't forget about the other guy too, the Robert Bernica. He could be dangerous too. That's another guy that looks almost exactly like fucking Josh Lenardowitz.
All right,
they have the same type of look, same type of physique. He's another monster.
Let's look him up. Because I think, as of right now, I think it's a toss-up between Kamal and Phil. That's who I would think who going in could pull the win. But
there's been no recent pictures of Josh?
No, not at all. No, he doesn't post anything. But I do know he's doing it because I spoke to Phil, and Phil said that they've been in touch with each other talking about it. So, okay, his name was, what was his name? Let's see.
His name is Robert Bernica.
Oh, there it is. Robert There it is. Okay. Oh yes. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about this guy. And this is recent. The thing is, though, I mean, he could probably crack, the top five, but I think compared to Phil and Kamal, they're just going to outshape him. But he is a big motherfucker. This guy his arms were just insane.
Yeah, he's one of those mutants. And again, I would consider him a dark horse too. If he can come in and he can come in shape, he would really, really get in there and do some damage. And then you have the two guys, the two Americans. We've got Fred Smalls and Max Charles. So there's your top 5, 6 right there.
Yeah. Now I was at the New York Pro, and Max Charles had a really, really poor outing. I mean, I think they gave him like 6th, and it was a gift, if I'm right. Yeah, I think so. He had nothing going on from the back, and even in the finals when he did his posing, he didn't even turn around. It was all front shots, so he knew. But after that, I'm pretty sure he reconnected with Milos to train for the Masters Olympia. So let's see. There we go. Did he put anything up? No, this is all from the New York Pro. Yeah, this is all from the New York Pro. Nothing. Let's see. Yeah, nothing new. This is all from the New York Pro. But all right, it is what it is. Listen, a lot of these guys, if they're really getting ready, they don't want to be bothered with
Well, you also have to put into consideration the fact that they are going for something that they all could possibly win.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Going into a regular IFBB Pro show, it's a very difficult way to, it more than likely in their heads they're thinking, well, I'm just going to do the show and look the best as I can. This is the one thing that they're going up against old dudes. Just like them, okay?
Yeah, right.
But they have a good chance. So it might give them an extra little spunk, an extra little push, an extra little drive to get in there and do what you got to do. Now, if you're asking me, I'm going to say something controversial here. If you're asking me, do I think it's safe? No, I do not. I don't.
As far as their age,
as far as being, yes,
I agree. Yeah, no, because they're pushing these guys. Kamal is over 50. Phil will be 50.
Here's my prediction. I'm gonna give you a prediction.
Go ahead.
Whoever has held on to their youth the best
will win.
is gonna win. Whoever has the best anti-aging drugs is gonna win this. Because we all know, dude, things change. When you get a little older, your shape changes and gets distorted. So guys that were known for good shape back in their heyday, might not necessarily be the same today.
Absolutely,
so whoever has held on to that, or whoever the youngest guy is, who might not even have been a top 10 guy in the past, that's one guy that could rule the reins this weekend.
Absolutely. Now, I'm pretty sure Fackery is training a guy for the Masters Olympia. You guys, and I'm trying to look who's from New York. It might be this guy Michael Lynn, but I'm pretty sure Fackery is training him for the Olympia.
Are you going to stream this, John? Are you going to be watching this live?
Oh, yeah, probably. No, that's not him. No, this guy's doing it, but this isn't the guy I was thinking of.
This guy looks like Dennis Wolf.
He does. He looks just like him. This guy's gonna get smoked. He's just too.
Well, listen. Again, this show is pretty much wide open. I think it's a consensus of a positive consensus from a lot of people that this is Kamal's show to win or lose.
Right.
Okay. But if he thinks that Phil's going to be a walkover, he's got something else coming.
Absolutely.
Josh is going to come in big. I hope Freddie Smalls is in shape. It should be a good show.
Well, Fred is in shape. He won the Masters overall at, was it Tampa? He won the Masters overall in Tampa. So I've seen him, and I've also had him on, him and Phil, talking about the Masters Olympia. He is in shape. He doesn't have the size he used to, but he is in shape. But I'm going to bring up somebody, and I know it's going to be hard to be honest about this guy because we're all friends with him. But it's, listen, he's in the show. So Mr. Vinnie Galante. And I know this show means a lot to him because he has been preparing this for a long time. But
why would it be controversial to bring his name up? I don't understand.
Because I don't think he's going to do well, but he's a friend of mine.
Well, listen, you got to be realistic. What Vinnie can't be 170 pounds? Is that what he is? Okay,
I don't know what he weighs. Yeah,
well, he can't possibly be more than 175, 180 pounds. I don't think so. I mean, he was a middleweight. The older you get, you start losing that, the fullness and the mass and what have you. But, I wish him the best. I'm glad he looks great for his age and all that good stuff. But, I mean, what are you expecting? Were you expecting to be that Vinnie that he was at the USAs? It's just not the same.
Of course not. Right. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
One thing. Okay. And, it's something we're all overlooking because we're all thinking of this. Especially King and I, as former, competitors, we're thinking of this from an athlete point of view, and the fact that he's 55 or whatever he is right now, and obviously these aren't his better years, But one thing Vinnie has that he's been carrying with him probably as long as I've known him, for as long as he's been trying to earn a pro card. Okay, and he's spoken about this. He feels as if he turned pro in the Masters. So he kind of missed his meaningful pro card, experience where King and I earned it earlier in our career at a younger age, and we were able to compete in the Open and so forth. Vinny's only really done well in the Masters shows.
Mm-hmm.
But for Vinny, this is more meaningful than probably anybody else on that stage.
100%.
First Olympia appearance. He could go out there feeling like, I fucking did it, even though I'm older. Dude, he's better than me now, even though he never beat King or I. But he could beat us right now on stage, So more power to him, dude. You know what I mean? Like, is it the best Vinny we've seen? Absolutely not, by any fucking means whatsoever. But he's in a good place, and hopefully, because you can't do this shit forever. Hopefully this experience for him, fills, some sort of void he's been carrying or gives him, some conviction, and status that I feel like he's been looking for a while.
I think
some of that Rocky, the stuff.
I got stuff left in the basement.
I got still stuff left in the basement.
I think if Vinny can crack the top 6,
that might be tough, dude.
I know, but with his conditioning, it's a possibility. If he could, top 6, top 8, I don't know what he's thinking. Realistically, I think
he's thinking just being there is a fucking victory. So
if that's the case, then, and you know what? And it's 100% true, because the first time when the Masters Olympia lineup came out months ago, and the first time we talked about it, it was me. When we were on Muscular Development, he messaged me the next day, and he said, "Did you guys bring me up?" I said, "Yeah, of course we did." So he is. This is huge for him. So I'm very happy for him, but realistically,
I hope the promoters are giving out a best poser award, because he has a good chance of winning that. That could mean a lot for him. The two people that will walk away with that will be Freddie Smalls, if you like the entertaining, pop locking, and dancing. But Vinny, if he comes out there and puts Last of the Mohicans on, or Rocky or something, and does his classical routine, that could bring, give him. I mean, I'm telling you from my own personal experience, winning the Arnold Best Poser thing, it made my night.
That's saying? A really good. That's very true, because he doesn't get enough credit for his posing. You're right about that. And if they do give a best poser, he could very well win that. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
He should. I hope they listen to this podcast and somebody out there puts up $5 or $10 grand, for the best poser.
I hope somebody listens to it too. I hope somebody listens.
Give him, we all listen. He's worked hard. All these guys have worked hard. I don't want to be, like Jason said, I don't want to put a black cloud or anything. For me, I'm speaking for myself personally. If you gave me the keys to the Eli Lilly fucking pharmaceutical company and said you have your choice and do whatever and get whatever you want, I still would not do it, because I wouldn't put my body through that again. I wouldn't do that again because of my own personal beliefs. But more power to these guys. As long as they're healthy and they're doing good, go for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very, very interesting because I think there will be a couple of dark horses. Like I said, Lenardowitz is. I'm really excited to see what he looks like. But I just have this feeling that it's going to be another Dennis Wolf thing where, remember, he had the operation on his neck and he came back and it just wasn't the same Dennis Wolf, right? I think he did he do the Arnold? I don't remember. And it's you wanted to see the old Dennis Wolf, but I just have that feeling that that's what's going to happen because.
Let me tell you something, bro. Nerve damage, there's no coming back.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry. There is no stem cell research. There is no ring dinger decompression of your spine. There is no fucking. There is no. You have nerve damage. You gotta just say, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more because I've had it. I had, not that I'm at your guys' level and not even close, but just training heavy in the gym was heavy for me. I've had 3 herniated discs I had to have removed. I had spinal stenosis. I had 3 of them fused with titanium, and it's never been the same. I mean, it's much better when I was, than going through the pain beforehand. But yeah, it's just not. I don't care what the doctors say. Doctors say, "Oh, you'll be back to normal." And no, it's just not. It's just not happening. It's just not. And even when I try to push myself, it's just fucking not happening. I really want to, thank you guys for coming on, especially King, on such short notice, and of course, Arns. Me and Arns are like this now, son. We're like this. So I Prevail subs. Get your I Prevail subs. You ain't doing shit. If Vinny's on I Prevail subs, he could win the whole fucking thing.
Well, that's what's missing. That's why he hasn't regained that longevity, that youthful skin and longevity, is because he's neglecting proper supplementation and dietary requirements.
That, kids, is called marketing.
And if you want to be,
I signed the teenage.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Justin Grinberg.
He
came over last Friday, dude. He came to train legs with me, so I had to fucking buckle down hard and put him through a leg workout, which crippled me for a couple days. But but did he's a good kid. But I signed him as an athlete, and I'm signing Nick Pereira, the winner of the Muscle Beach, also.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had a talk today, and it's a good fit. He loves the products, and I'm going to bring him on board. Yeah.
Very cool, man. Very cool. I don't. That kid. Did you see him? King, the kid that won the Teenage Nationals?
No, I have not, but I can imagine.
He was on, I'll just pull it up quickly. He was on RX Muscle, and then he was on my show. Not that, But let me see if I get rid of any.
It's him when he's 50 years old.
Yeah, right. Justin Greenberg, this kid.
There you go.
And I tell you, for what is he, 19? The kid look fucking good. Look at the legs on this kid. He's 19 years old.
Nice.
I mean that's pretty impressive for 19. And I think he's natural.
Yeah. Actually, we talked about it, dude.
He's not. Almost natural. Okay. All right. And but he
doing the stuff that we did when we were 19, like when it was just training and fucking diet, and a little bit.
Look at the striations in his glutes and his hamstrings, even down to his calves.
He looks good.
19 years old. He looks fucking good.
The shot
he definitely looks
Muscle
good.
Beach.
Right. And then 9 days later, he does Muscle Beach and wins the middleweight open.
And the teenage.
Oh, yeah.
Teenage. Show the other one with his rear shot.
Okay, let's see.
Just on top.
Top. This one?
Right there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kid looks good, man. 19 years old. Jesus, I never looked like that ever.
That is nice. He's got a good, bright future if he stays on the right track.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to be the next champion bodybuilder, you hit King Kamali up on Instagram because he is one of the greatest trainers on the East Coast. And I actually said, I do this thing called Anabolic Academy where I have people, just email me questions or Instagram me questions and I answer them. And one of the questions was during my when I was competing in the NPC, if I would have done anything different. And I said the one thing I would have done different was got a better trainer. And I said, being that I'm from now living in Jersey, originally from New York, I said I would have went with one of three guys. I would have went with Thackeray, Oscar Arden, or King Kamali. And I would have spent the money, and I guarantee I would have made a big difference.
Now, let me say something real quick before we get out of here. I want to clarify something too. I train everybody who is serious. There are many people who contact me, and within just a couple of weeks, I've refunded many people because I don't want to deal with it. I don't want, I don't know, Jason, if you help people
Not
and they
anymore.
start.
I
It just gets to a point where I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't work with you. What did I do? I was like, I'm sorry, I cannot work with you. Yeah. That's number one. Number two, only if you're serious. And number two, I don't only train hot girls. Okay, I know I'm training a lot of hot girls right now, but believe me, I'm not doing this on purpose. They are coming to me. Okay, I'm not going and trying to hunt hot girls. Because I get that all the time now. Like, what the fuck, bro? Why are you getting all these hot? I'm like, dude, they're coming to me. I'm sorry. I what the fuck am I supposed to do? So it's the full spectrum. I like, as a matter of fact, bodybuilders are great. My favorite people to train are teenage kids. When their parents contact me, they're like, I want my son to be jacking people up on the football field. Like, I love that. I'm like, okay, I'll teach him how to eat, and I'll teach him how to power train. That's it, and we're good to go. So yeah,
that's great. All right, great. And of course, like and subscribe to Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding. I'm one of the smaller podcasts that are giving you elite bodybuilders. Nobody else is doing that unless they're RX or muscular development. I'm your host, John Livia. And again, thank you very much, fellas. Thank you, King Kamali. Thank you, Jason Ons. And we will be in touch. All right, gentlemen, have a good night.
Okay, see you later, buddy.
Good night, guys. Take care.